All right, we start tonight with a Fox News alert. The president, Donald Trump, who announced he is running for re-election last night, he will join us in just a few minutes, an exclusive one-on-one interview. You don't want to miss it. And unlike the media mob, we'll let him talk, and we're not playing gotcha. Last night, the president officially kicked off his re-election bid, a massive rally, 20,000-seat arena in Orlando, packed to the brim. More than 150,000 people, by the way, wanted to be there, and many more stood in an overflow area outside, with some literally waiting in line over 40-plus hours just to get in. Well, I guess the greatest show on earth, considering there's no guitar, there's no Billy Joel, Elton John, Jimi Hendrix, and I don't think the president sings well, but the president and thousands upon thousands of pumped-up supporters. Now, I would say it's fair to compare his crowds to any of his radical socialists, the 24 Democrats that want to go up against him in the next presidential election. Like, for example, sleepy, creepy, crazy Uncle Joe. Has he ever filled an arena? One time? Obama did. I don't think Joe has. Only 600 people came to his first campaign rally. Elizabeth Warren, to her credit, she did slightly better. She had a whopping 3,500 supporters that showed up in her home state of Massachusetts. Meanwhile, the one-time rising star of the Democratic Party, Robert Francis, Beto, Bozo, O'Rourke, he amassed 1,000 people, or roughly 1/20th the size of the president's rally. Look at your screen. Now, the enthusiasm gap is massive. But not everyone sees the handwriting on the wall. So-called journalists, so-called pundits, the ones that have been lying to you for 2+ years and that have pushed conspiracy theories and hoaxes and never thought Donald Trump would win, well, they used last night's rally to trash the president and his supporters. And by the way, as we start the show tonight, I also start with a thank you, because we had well over 5 million people just tuned into this 1 hour. Never mind, Tucker's Hour. Never mind the other cable channels. Never mind the other media outlets. Very impressive showing by the president last night. We're not the media mob. We are more than, yes, smelly people that like Walmart, that cling to our guns, God, Bibles, and religion. We're not irredeemable deplorables, although some people think so. And it appears the mob has learned absolutely, positively nothing from 2016. Let's take a look.
It turned into a lock her up chant tonight.
Sure. And that's a reflection of Donald Trump's followers. Just as we hold the president accountable, we should hold his followers who make those chants accountable as well.
It was a very dark speech, though. It was almost like the live-action version of American Carnage, his inauguration address. It didn't feel like a celebration of America being great again.
It is grievance palooza. This is everyone there is there's not this affirmative feeling about the greatness of our country or some vision for the future. There were a lot of people there, classic Florida. There's a little bit of a smattering of QAnon. There were people wearing their formal flip-flops and their dress cargo pants.
No disrespect to the king of rock and roll, but this is Elvis in '77. Yeah. Just kind of lumbering across the stage, sweating.
I have a message for the conspiracy theorists on fake news NBC. Yeah, the conspiracy network, the Americans who showed up last night in flip-flops and cargo shorts. Well, they will be the people that choose the next president. They're the ones that were right in 2016, and all of you were wrong. I suggest you go back and watch yourself on Election Day. And I know the exit polls showed that Donald Trump didn't win, and you all started out your coverage giddy and happy and uplifted, and you thought you had it in the bag, and then all of a sudden, well, North Carolina came around, and Wisconsin came around, and Michigan came around, and Pennsylvania came around, and Ohio came around, and yeah, Florida came around. And what happened? It didn't work out the way you wanted, and you could see the depression set in the media mob. An amazing night. The forgotten men and women in this country, the ones that suffered the most under Biden, Obama, the people that make this country great every day. They didn't buy into your lies, your conspiracy theories, and your hoax the last 2 years. And as the president's been setting records as it relates to the economy and jobs and everything else, well, they have turned off the nightly vitriol and fake news, CNN and MSNBC. They've had enough of all of your disgusting Hitler comparisons, too. Jeff Zucker, you run fake news CNN. Your ratings are in the tank. I know Jimmy Acosta's begging to be on my show. His book was 550 on Amazon today. You can barely break 1 million in any hour during the day. We had over 5 million last night. Nobody's watching. You let your, quote, journalist, Don Lemon, say this on your network last night? You should be ashamed of yourself. Take a look.
Think about the despicable people we've had in history. Okay, now I'm going to use an extreme example. Think about Hitler. Think about any of those people. If you could look back in history, would you say, well, I'm so glad that that person was allowed a platform so that they could spread their hate and propaganda and lies? Or would you say it probably wasn't the right thing to do to spread that because you knew in the moment that that was a bad person and they were doing bad things? Not only were they hurting people, they were killing people. And so I just think that
but I think that the example matters, and that's a very extreme example.
What really happened was this. When the president, 6+ minutes into his speech last night, said all those fake news people in the back, and then the crowd started chanting again, not chanting, screaming, well, telling the truth about fake news CNN, that CNN sucks. CNN couldn't take the criticism, and they turned it off. Don Lemon and Jeff Zucker, you need to pick up a history book every now and then, from prison reform to tax cuts to promises made and kept, constitutional justices to the right to try, to ending burdensome regulation, to energy independence, to killing that stupid Iranian deal, to, recognizing Israel and Jerusalem as the capital and Golan as Israel's territory. President Trump is committed to preserving the freedom of all Americans. And in case you haven't noticed, because every second, every minute, every hour of every day you're focused on hating the president, which is true, maybe you would have noticed that, well, Obama-Biden had 13 million more Americans on food stamps after 8 years, 8 million more in poverty, the worst recovery since the 40s, the lowest labor participation rate since the 70s, lowest homeownership rate in 51 years. Oh, they took on more debt than all 43 presidents before them combined and never hit 3% GDP in their 8 years. Now we have record low unemployment for African Americans, for Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, women in the workplace, and youth unemployment is literally at a 50-year low. That means kids stay out of trouble. They get summer jobs like me when I was a kid. I was rather incorrigible. Peace, prosperity are on the rise. We're now energy independent for the first time in 75 years. The president's approval rating, by the way, I don't think he rates like most politicians. I don't think you can poll Donald Trump. Honestly, that's my opinion. But anyway, that's not all. For the first time in many decades, if you would stop with your rage, your psychosis, and your obsession in hating the president, well, the Trump administration is taking major steps to hold our massive government bureaucracy accountable. Because President Trump, as Attorney General Bill Barr, the story that you missed, the biggest abuse of power in American history, corruption on a level that is so bad that if we don't stop it, we'll lose this great democratic republic that so many fought, bled, and died for. But the corrupt 1% of a two-tier justice system in this country, they're finally getting the attention they deserve. Unfortunately, you were all wrong. This program got it right. And thankfully, we had an ensemble team, John Solomon, Greg Jarrett, Tom Fitton, Sharon Carter. I can't mention Janine Pirro, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tunsing. I can't mention everybody. Committed to peeling every layer of the deep state onion. And tonight, the Hill's John Solomon is back with another bombshell report. Now, for months, we have highlighted Christopher Steele's dirty dossier, bought and paid for Russian lies by Hillary Clinton. According to Solomon, it was not the only fraudulent document used against a Trump campaign associate. In 2017, the FBI pushed something called the Black Cash Ledger to obtain multiple warrants, in this case on Paul Manafort. The only problem, by the way, I think they want Paul Manafort to die in jail. First, isolation. Now they want to put him in Rikers. Then they want to give him a state charges and charge him all over again, which I believe is double jeopardy. And I've always known that Mueller and his merry team of Weissman, the Pitbull, and Jeannie Ray, Clinton's former attorney, were just bad people. But the Black Cash Ledger, which these other news networks would never tell you about, was full of a lot of crap. Solomon writes, quote, the feds were warned repeatedly the document couldn't be trusted and likely was a fake. Ukraine's top prosecutor said the document was not authenticated, should not be used in any way to bring accusations against anybody. Wow, do you hear appeal in your ear? The ledger's key assertion, Manafort received cash payments by all accounts, are totally false.